you can be forgiven for betraying your country. All right, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Chocolate Chat, brought to you by The Persistent Rumor. My name is Chocolate Yoda, spelled Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. And with me today is an old buddy of mine. And when I say old, he's really old, like legitimately old.
I love you too, brother.
It is world-renowned chef, my son's godfather, a friend of mine since 1988, roughly, and just an all-around good guy. It's weird to talk to you. I haven't done one of these during the daytime. And I know I'll apologize to my audience right now. It's very difficult to look at Wayne during the daylight, but we're going to get through this. Anyway, it is Chef Wayne Lyons. What's up, brother?
Nothing too much, boss man. But, first of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Regardless of your baseless insults, I still love you.
I love you too, I guess. Whatever.
It's great to be here. I love what you guys have been doing on the show, so I look forward to kicking it with you, man.
Yeah. Cool. So now, so let's talk about the obvious stuff first and get that out of the way. Mr. Wayne Lyons, as I call him, Chef of the Future. I coined that in somewhere around 88 or 89 and it still holds true, but you fulfilled all of my expectations, certainly. And I'm sure shattered a lot of people's expectations because there was a low bar set for you in life. Nobody thought you would amount to anything.
I'm like, yeah.
I mean, I'm being unfair. I can't speak for everybody. I thought there was no way that you were going to become anything, but I knew that you were talented. Hard to look at, but I knew that you were very talented. Before
you go on, let me just stop you right there, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know damn well that I had, that I was destined for stardom, brother. So you might as well stop with all of the stuff because we all know that ain't true.
Hey, listen.
You can carry on now.
McDonald's is one of the biggest restaurants in the world, and the Pet Rock was a hit also. So, I mean, whatever. But right now, Wayne, for some people who don't know, for the poor saps that don't know who this man is, he is what I consider to be a world-renowned chef. Anyone that experiences his food is transformed by it. He is a phenomenal chef, and that's not just my opinion. He's a Chopped champion as well, the famous Food Network show. And really just one of the most creative chefs I've not only experienced firsthand, but I've even seen or even heard of. Like when I read about what some chefs get famous for, it's a joke compared to what Wayne is capable of. And that kind of brings us to today, as is the graphic behind you. You have a new line of sauces. And I just placed my order. I am so looking forward to getting my hands on them. But why don't you tell us a little bit about that and how that came about and anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, man. The sauces have been, I guess, a dream of mine for quite some time. The first sauce that I developed was the traditional West Indian sauce, which I featured at my restaurant. I also used to serve it at home and make it for friends, but subsequently, the other three sauces that I developed were a product of basically just playing around with flavors and just wondering what things worked and actually working in development for 3.5 years since I moved over to the UK. And, as a result of working in the development area, I've been able to kind of hone my abilities and my knowledge of recipes and nutritions and nutritional breakdown and so forth and so on. So that's basically where the sauces originated. I'm still, as we speak, I'm working on other sauces as well, and looking forward to being able to introduce those to the market. Probably sometime next year.
Excellent. I instantly regret asking because you're so boring. It's hard to listen to you, but what are the 4 flavors that you have right now?
Right now we're working on. Right now we have. You gotta excuse me. You're such a bastard. chocolate habanero balsamic. There's a strawberry gin and tomato, and there's a mango, orange, saffron, and ahi pepper.
Wow. So one of the things, one of the ways that I describe you as a chef is the Mozart of chefs, because the same way that Mozart could just envision music and then write it on the page perfectly, you have this uncanny ability to understand how flavors combine in a way that is so unique and creative and not at all obvious. Because I remember that our mutual buddy Jose and I used to read your posts on Facebook when you were running the restaurant, and you would put up the menu, and we'd read and go, that sounds amazing, but it's not anything I would have ever thought to do. And I think that's really a testament to your genius. So how did you even become a chef? How does that all happen?
Well, it's funny you ask, because a lot of people ask me the same thing. And basically it started back when I was very, very young. My mother really couldn't cook that well. God rest her soul, wonderful woman, but
absolutely
not useless in the kitchen. But that's besides the point.
Right.
As a result of that, I started experimenting with, reading cookbooks and what have you, and trying to recreate recipes that I either tasted when we did go out. I mean, growing up, my mom, she did the best she could, but we didn't have a whole lot. So, going out was every once in a while. But whenever I had something that I really liked, I tried to recreate it back at home. My aunt was a home ec teacher, so she had several cookbooks and things of that sort upstairs. She lived upstairs from us, and I would go up there and I would talk to her about recipes and look through her books and what have you, and try to recreate those. Also, because we didn't have a whole lot of money and we really didn't travel that much, I found a way of being able to experience other cultures in other countries through
right.
food, So it was a way for me to kind of escape and to, and just enjoy, the flavors of other countries, right. through cooking. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So obviously your mother and your aunts had a tremendous influence on you.
Yeah.
And I know that they were both wonderful women. So obviously the problem is you. So now you took us back to when you were young. So what's sort of a Reader's Digest progression of that genesis of, you had the spark of interest in food, and obviously it was more meaningful than just fuel to keep you alive. You had some attachments to that. And when I met you in '88, you were working for a large hotel chain. Yes, the Marriott. Didn't know whether they wanted you to associate with you, so I didn't say their name. But all right, let's roll the dice on that fucking lawsuit. But so you were already there. So take me through the gap between early childhood and working at the Marriott. How did that come about?
Well, Actually, prior to going into the culinary, I was working as an architect because I
Right.
have degrees in architecture. So I was doing
Right.
that. But I had been, during that time and during, my young adulthood, I was always taking part in street festivals and things of that sort
Hmm.
where, served cakes and chicken and, different types of, finger foods and so forth
Hmm.
and sell them, to the neighborhood. And one of my neighbors, who happened to be a good family friend, he was I believe he was the head of HR for that large hotel chain you were talking about.
Right.
And he'd always told me, he said, listen, if you ever decide to change vocations, please look me up. So after working in the field for about 5 years, I got pretty bored with it and some other things that happened in my life, which you're very familiar with. Some life changes and some
Hmm.
things that caused me to really reassess and reevaluate what I was doing in life and why I was doing it. And I as a result of that, I went and met with this gentleman. I gave him my resume. He passed it on to one of the managers of one of the hotels in Manhattan, and they hired me. And I started working as a prep cook, working on the cold buffet line for the executive dining area of
Hmm.
Payne Weber. Within 5 years, I worked my way up to executive chef, running one of their restaurants in the Time Warner building in Manhattan. It's a 1251 club. So I had, working for that chain was
Yeah.
an amazing
No, this
experience.
is very exciting because now we've got three huge companies that are going to have to go on Twitter and disavow knowledge of you. Why in the world would they want to be associated with you? But, that's fine. I'm willing to take that risk.
They'll love me, man.
So now, what I recall is at a certain point, you decided to
Yeah,
go into business for yourself as a
yeah,
caterer.
yeah.
And my recollection is that you quickly uh, got into catering for hip hop music videos,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah,
of
but that
course,
was about
mainstream music would have nothing to do with you, because that you are absolutely
what
beneath them.
no, no. See, once they found out about us, of
uh,
course they wanted us. I mean,
sure.
everybody wanted us. What are you talking about?
Well,
Let
no.
me,
Listen, you work cheap, and you stayed in the corner by yourself. No, obviously, I can only imagine that there was
yeah,
a tipping point with
yeah,
regard to. I mean, it really just was a matter of time.
yeah.
That was my first inclination
Mm,
when I tasted your food, because
mm,
I'm a vegetarian, but you would bring back salads and you would just say, "Oh yeah, I invented this salad dressing
mm,
for this,"
mm,
and I would taste it, and of course it would be spectacular.
mm,
And I just thought, this food is so good that it really is just a
mm,
matter of time for
mm,
enough people to experience this before
mm,
it breaks big. And um, so obviously you word got around in the music
mm.
industry that
Yeah.
this guy's the bomb caterer, etc.
Mm.
And so now there came a point where you made the leap from that into opening up your own restaurant.
Yeah, yeah. That was in 2007. We
Mm-hmm.
opened Soul Flavors. We still continue
Yes.
with the catering,
Right.
and that was, and that was a how can I say that was an experience, a wonderful experience for the most part. Trying experience as well.
Sure.
Definitely, definitely a learning experience. But overall, I have a lot of great memories from running that restaurant because we were in business for 7.5 years,
Right.
serving Jersey City, downtown Jersey City, and the metropolitan area. I made a lot of good friends there. Actually, you had you. I think that's where I met Jose.
Yeah.
Through you, as well as some other friends that you brought through and
Mm-hmm.
many others, so and people who I still keep in contact with to this day, as a
Yeah.
result of, serving them in the restaurant.
Well, nobody forgets your food. That's the thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Jose and I still refer back
Mm-hmm.
to a dish that you made at a tasting in 2001.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I think I know what you're
like,
talking about.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
it just stays with you because it is so
Mm.
good. But so now you had a turning point in the restaurant, and really two. One was Mother Nature, but before
Right,
that,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
had Chopped,
Yes.
and
Uh-huh.
I think the statute of limitations has now passed far enough since 2011 that I can happily
Yeah.
say that I knew you were the winner 3 months before it aired, and did a brilliant job of keeping that to myself. Literally, no
Yeah.
one knew it.
Yeah.
I even watched it with this chick, and
Yeah.
she had
Yeah.
no idea that I
That you
knew
knew.
until
Yeah.
it was announced, and I didn't react. And she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, you knew, didn't you?" I was like, "Shut up." But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But from my recollection,
Yeah.
from the airing of Chop, your
Mhm.
restaurant was filled every day after that,
Oh
basically.
yeah, it was insane, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
which is
we
what
we were
exactly what I had hoped would happen.
yeah, we I mean there were people were lining up around the block, trying to get in. We had, I mean, we have never been that busy. I mean, that lasted for a good year or so,
Yeah,
where we were just packed, man, and we
yeah,
had to hire extra staff, and it was amazing. It really
yeah,
was. It was a great boost for my ego as well as my as well as the business is concerned as well.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if I ever told you, but for me, that whole experience was like a validation. I mean, I
Sure.
always, I felt, I felt that I was always, a pretty good cook, a good chef. But being able to get through that and to win, that really, it just really validated me in my own mind
Of
as to
course, of course.
where I was as far as a chef and in an industry that is really where we don't, as African Americans, we don't really get a whole lot of play, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, as luck would have it, about 7 or 8 years after that, I actually met one of the chefs that was a judge on your show,
Right, you did tell
Amanda.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Benefit tag.
I
Yes.
wound up being at her mother's house
Yeah.
because her best friend and I dated for a hot minute, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I wound up, at her mother's house on her mother's birthday, and
Wow.
eating a cake that Amanda made. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
And by the way she smiles on television is the way she's always smiling. She's
Oh,
just
she's a sweetie.
perpetually happy. Yeah, very, very
She's a
sweet person.
sweetheart. Yeah.
I'm actually still connected to her mother on Facebook.
Oh, you really? Oh,
Very, very
man.
sweet lady, very sweet
Mhm.
family. But so uh, at a certain point, I recall that you were on Match.com,
Mhm.
and this Brit who was living in Spain
Yeah, man.
somehow took a liking to you. I mean, I think it's amazing that before that you met a woman that was willing to have your children. Thankfully, they turned out okay. I'm gonna assume that was her doing. But but after that relationship, then miraculously someone else agreed to be in a relationship with you, and
Yeah. Yeah.
she agreed to leave Europe and
Yeah, man.
come be with you. I always just
Mhm.
assumed it was like a hostage thing, but apparently she really. I mean, it seems that she likes you.
She's a good woman. She's a good woman, man. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. This is why I'm shocked by all of this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but and so
You're
and you've
terrible,
been
man.
married for quite some time now.
Yeah, 16 years, brother. 16 years,
16
man.
years. Wow, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah. Jill's my rock, man. Really. I mean,
Yeah.
that restaurant would not have been able to be, I think, half as successful had she not been involved.
Yeah.
Because she ran the front of the house, she did the books and what have you.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would tell anybody who decides to go into the restaurant, going to open a restaurant or any business for that matter. You got to have your finances straight. You got to have
Yeah.
some background in that area, man, because otherwise you're doomed to fail.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
And now, at a certain point after the big storm in 2011,
Yeah.
kind of devastated your restaurant. You
Mm-hmm.
had an opportunity to rebuild and then sell it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you moved to England since
Mm-hmm.
Jill had been a soldier and hung out with you in America. You
Yeah.
repaid the
10 years,
favor.
man.
Yeah, and you've been in England now for 6 years.
Yeah. Yep.
And as you mentioned when you started and you posted this on Facebook, now you're going to become a citizen of the UK. So I guess my main question is, what does it feel like to betray America?
Well, given America's present our current situation,
Yeah.
socially as well as politically,
Yeah.
I feel great.
Yeah. I think you made a good move there.
I escaped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But seriously speaking, though, I mean, obviously I'll have my dual citizenship, and I wouldn't give up my American citizenship. Regardless of who's in the White House.
Sure.
But no, it's good, man. It's really, I mean, the benefits over here for the citizens of the UK, I think, far outweigh what's offered back home. One of the reasons why we moved was because, the cost of living in America, especially where we were living, is extortionate.
It's astronomical.
Taxes and so forth. But other than that, I mean, like I said, that aside, quality of life is really amazing over here.
Well, yeah, because England actually gives a shit about their citizens. That's a stark contrast. I mean, these guys that just made $180,000 for 9 months of work are debating on whether they should give us $600 or $2,000. That's what we have in America.
Yeah.
So that's a nice sort of condensed version of your life. You've certainly overcome some things. So what is, I mean, you mentioned that being on Chopped was very validating for you, and that makes perfect sense, of course. So what is it now that fulfills you? Like, I don't want to answer for you, but I know that a lot of it revolves around being a chef. Like, this is your true calling. You didn't do this because it was the only way that you could make money. You do this because you truly love it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a passion. I think it's a gift, a God-given gift. Without getting too, because I'm not a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual guy, but I do believe it's a gift from God, and I believe that. For me, that what gives me joy, what my passion is being able to share the gift, and through the sauces for right now, the other products that I have that I'd like to be able to bring to market, and also, just being involved like in some of the festivals and what have you, where I can actually get a chance to connect with people. I think it's really important that it's one thing to be able to share, to be able to market your product on like say online or what have you, or in a store, which is what I hoped. I mean, I'm online now, and I hope to be able to be in some of the major markets very soon. But the other part for me is about connecting with people on a one-to-one basis. I think it's really, for me, it's important, because for me to be able to share my gift, to be able to get feedback from them because they've tasted what it is that I produce and they enjoy it. It's a high. It's a high for me. Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you switched from architecture to food. It's a lot harder to eat buildings, and I suspect not quite as tasty. But I'll make a transition more into your personal life. So you have two children.
Yes.
And, since you're 60, this might be one of the last times they get a chance to see you. So, why don't you talk about them a little bit? And I mean, cause really, 60 in Black years is like 80 in Caucasian years. So, the clock's ticking, man,
Yeah, man.
So talk about your children a little bit.
Yeah, no, I have two great kids, man. Khalil and Alia. Khalil's 31 now, and Alia's 25. Khalil's living in South Jersey in Cape May, and Alia's in St. Louis. They're both doing quite well, thank God.
Nice.
Something I know you can speak from experience because of your son Christopher. For me, what's more important than them being, say, successful or making a lot of money, it's about them being good people, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's for me, it's very important, and it makes me, and I'm proud to say that, not only do I love my children, but I'm proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I'm so grateful for the way they turned out, and I know that. Obviously, it was a combined effort, because I don't believe that it's just our parents. It's a community that helps raise the children. A village. Right. They say it takes a village, and it does. So we've been very blessed and very lucky. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think really any man is only as good as the people he surrounds himself with. That's why it's so beneficial for you to have me in your life, because
something I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't going to say it. You bastard.
But go ahead. I think it really is, to your point, has nothing to do with money and all that, whatever, like, achievements that society says are the boxes that you have to check. Because here's how I look at it. I'm a very pragmatic person, right? And so when I analyze American society, it's clear to see that the prescription for living that you get in America doesn't work.
No,
it might work for a very tiny sliver of the population, but by and large, it just doesn't work. Right. That's why you have so many people that are miserable in America, because they're trying to do this thing that has nothing to do with anything except being a profit center for a lot of different companies. That's what they try to raise each citizen in America to be. Another battery in the matrix, basically.
But that's a cog, man. A cog in the wheel, the machine.
Exactly. So my son's 35 now, and what I care about basically exclusively is what kind of person he is. He's a beautiful human being that made three other beautiful human beings that are my grandchildren. Wait till that phase of your life, man. That's and really, to your children, I say, hurry up. Dad doesn't have a lot of time. You gotta start producing some grandchildren for him, please. I beg you. You can time his life on a friggin' egg timer at this point. Let's get going. Full disclosure, you're only 4 years older than me. I act like you're so much older. It's only because you look so terrible compared to me.
You're just jealous, man. You can stop.
It could be. So I just think that as money to me has no inherent value to it beyond options. That's it. What can you buy as far as your needs? Like, are you going to spend a lot of money to live in a fancy place, or are you going to be like me and live in a place that's basically got all the charms of a crack house? That's what I chose, because I don't see the point in spending a lot of money on housing. I don't see the point in spending a lot of money on cars, and I have no name brand clothing. I don't care about any of that stuff. I sleep indoors. Obviously, I eat every day. I'm fat as fuck, so I don't skip meals, obviously, right? So that's all I care about. The rest is like, okay, maybe I'll luck out and have enough money to die in a comfortable bed, the way Chris Rock said, right? That's all I care about, right? But yeah, I mean, you're one of my dearest friends, and the reason for that is because you're just a loving, wonderful person. I tease you constantly because all I ever want to do is make you laugh, because I just love your laugh. It's so infectious. And so I will say literally anything to get you to laugh.
And continue to do so.
yeah, I'm not giving up on that anytime soon.
No, it wouldn't be you otherwise, man.
That's right. And it's all good, man. As we've said before, one of my favorite things to do, like I can't wait till you make new friends on Facebook, just so I can confuse a new group of people.
I really wonder what people think sometimes, like.
Well, some of them have said it. Some of them have made comments after my comments and been like, "Yo, dude, like."
No, he's all right. It's cool, man. This is what we do, we go backward and forward,
Yeah. Anyway, we'll go full circle and go back to where we started. Where can people get your sauces?
Right now, we're online, www.soulflavorsuk.com. You can place your orders through there. I'm also shipping to the U.S. Via Facebook and Instagram. You can direct message me or instant message me, and I'll give you all the details as far as that's concerned. And finally, if you live in the UK, we're available on Amazon. So you can always hit me up over there and pick pick up some of the sauces through them. But
that's
basically, best to go through the website. Yeah, that's the best way to go.
I love that you're so old that you're still saying www in front of a website. That's so great. You're so ancient. It's unbelievable.
Hey, man, I can't get away from it.
I really question my friendship with you sometimes. I don't understand how we're still talking. As I said earlier, I've ordered my sauces, and I honestly can't wait. Like, how could I not? Like, it's, I so miss the restaurant. It is a constant lamentation, especially now that I live in Jersey. It's just a constant lamentation that your restaurant's not here anymore. So this is my way of recapturing a little slice of heaven that I experienced so often when I was here. So I thank you for participating in this little farce.
It's my pleasure.
It's such a pleasure to see you always. It's a pleasure to chat with you. I was bummed out that the coronavirus pandemic prevented us from hanging out in November like we usually do, but that's okay. Things get changed, and you have to make adjustments sometimes. It's no big deal. And I'm only really saying that for Americans, because apparently they don't understand that. Like, you have to inconvenience yourself sometimes, and what better time than a life and death fucking situation?
I know, really. Some people, like you said, people just don't fucking get it.
Oh my God. But anyway, so I do look forward to seeing you again. And,
yes, my brother.
Once I get over the shock of seeing you move around in real life, in real time, maybe we'll do it again. But please say hello to Jill for me. I
certainly will, man.
One of the things that I love about your relationship with her is that she is truly your biggest fan. Just speaks so highly of you, even behind your back, which it really shocked me. I thought it was an act. I really did. But she really likes you. It's amazing. So all right, brother, we will talk soon. More than likely, this will be up after the new year. And continued success. I love you.
I love you too, brother. And my love to Chris, please.
You got it, man. All right.
All right, boss. Take care now.